Okay, all pressed, so now we take the pins out.
Next week's class, the last class of the course?
That's it. I mean, it's not, I mean, it's the last, this class is the last class, but I go through the routine. My other classes.
Not today is the last class. It's meant this section next week is the last class.
All Tuesday classes end next week. Okay, so now that I have pressed this all up, now what I'm going to do is, it's a total of a ½ inch, but now I'm going to fold it into itself to bring it down to a ¼ inch. All right, so I'm just folding it down like that, right in the middle of that ½ inch seam allowance. I'm just folding it down. Now, you can do this if you're more comfortable doing it this way, where you fold it, pin it, fold it into itself, and pin it and work your way all the way around, and then take it to the board again and press it. If you do that, it's a little more time consuming. If you do that, it's perfectly pressed in place, much easier to sew, okay? However, if you're a little more proficient at the sewing, then you can take it and sort of roll it and fold it as you're sewing. That's what I'm going to do, because I'm more proficient. So I'm rolling it into itself. And I'm starting just beyond the facing, and I'm going to stitch right on the edge. Right, I'm dropping my needle, and I'm turning as I sew, and if I just turn little sections and kind of keep my finger down on it, then I can stitch, and I'm stitching right on that edge. And if you remember from early on when we were doing the pin tucks, you want to use that inside edge of the presser foot to line up with your edge. So.
Why don't you start at the very end? Why did you start there?
Because then I would be going over. No, it does there. This is cheap. This is a cheap shirt. It's just a nicer. I mean, if you look at any shirts, it's usually always done like that. I don't know why. Don't ask me questions like this. What are you kidding? I just do what I'm told. Fairly easy once you. And the key is when you're doing stitching like this, where you always have to stop and maneuver and stop and fold and whatnot, always put your needle in the down position. It anchors it in, so you never run the risk of the fabric slipping away as you're working in the next section.
Do you recommend double pressing it so that?
If you are, yes. If you are not that comfortable with the machine and you feel like it kind of gets away, it has a tendency to get away from you, yes.
It's like after you roll it in, press it one more time so that...
Press it in place before you do the sewing, as opposed to what I'm doing, which I'm rolling and folding it as I'm sewing. I think it's worth trying this. You know, I mean, at the end of the day, it's sort of an issue of control and just gaining control over the machine. don't go on the facing, and
Don't back.
no, don't back tack. Boylan. Pull your threads through.